You're wasting about 99% of what AI is capable of. So in the next 10 minutes, I'll show you step by step exactly how to set it up so that you never waste another prompt. What most people think is the problem is their prompting. They're not being specific enough, not asking the right questions, or not using the proper prompting technique. And this is very far from the truth. The problem is their setup. They're trying to use a Ferrari like it's a bicycle. If you pedal more, it's not going to go any faster. So if you're still using Claude, ChatGPT, or Perplexity in your browser, the problem isn't your prompt. It isn't you at all. The problem is the setup that you're using. A browser based AI only has the information it was trained on or the one that it can look up online. It has no personalized information for you. Yes, there are memory techniques that it saves the chat, but that only remembers maybe 5% of what you actually talked about. So in this video, I'll walk you through step by step on how to set this up and use it so that you get personalized outputs every single time in a manner that you can actually use it. So here's what's actually happening when you use AI in your browser. You ask it a question, you get an answer, and then you close the tab. After this, it has no idea who you are, what project you're working on, or any progress you made. Every session starts from zero. It's basically like asking a stranger for directions. It's helpful in the moment, but after that interaction, they won't know who you are, what your destination is, or even remember the conversation you had. So, in this video, we will be turning that into a team member. Basically, it will remember what you did on day one, day two, day three, and so on. It shows up every single day and remembers what you did the day before, just like a team member or an employee that you might be using. The benefits of this is notes the project inside out. It already has access to all of that. It's the same AI, but set up in a much more comprehensive way so that your AI becomes more of a collaborator rather than a one-time helper. So let's get into it. So step one is get off the browser, download the desktop apps. For ChatGPT, it's going to be the Codex app. For Claude, it's going to be Claude Desktop. Now, let me show you really quickly how to do it. If you go into your ChatGPT or Claude website, I'm using Claude just for reference, you click on the bottom left corner, get apps and extensions. This might be ever so slightly different for Codex. And then you download the desktop app. After you do that, it should pop up with something like this. Now you might be asking, how is this any different from the browser? It's the same thing. It's the chat. You ask it the same questions. These apps can read your files, organize folders, basically access anything that's on your computer that the browser version simply could not ever do. As to which app you should download, it truly does not matter. If you're using ChatGPT, download Codex. If you're using Claude, download Claude Desktop. At this point, Claude and ChatGPT are neck and neck as to their capabilities. So it truly does not matter. Just use the one that you have been using because then you also get that little bit of chat memory that we talked about prior. Okay, perfect. Now we're on to step two. Here's where the actual process will change ever so slightly for Claude and Chat. Chat, you don't have to listen to this. For Claude, you have two main ways of working with Claude. You have the co-work and the code tab up here. Co-work is where you want to live. This is your day-to-day. You don't need anything more. For code, this is a developer tool when you're actually going to be running scripts, code on your own personal computer or whatever you're using. Most of the time, you don't need actually all this heavy lifting, so all you need to do is co-work. Now, why do you want to use Claude Co-work or Codex? Well, because of this little tab over here, work in a project. When you're working in a project, every information, every chat, any instructions you gave it automatically save into that project. So that it remembers who you are, what the progress is, where the project needs to go, and keeps that for the next session. It turns from a disposable tab into a complete, full memory that remembers everything about the project. And the same thing goes for Codex. You're creating a workspace where you can keep everything organized and in a fashion where everybody remembers exactly what was done. Now, this by itself probably feels already like a major upgrade, but the next two steps is where we take it from good to great. Quick pause. If you're enjoying this video, please consider subscribing. I make these videos so that I can bring AI and the use of these tools closer to you because developers and people are taking advantage of it very rapidly. I am here to make it easy for you to do the same. Thank you so much for watching and let's enjoy the rest of the video. So now how to actually use Claude Cowork or Codex. Well, first of all, you want to create a folder. You can either do this by saying work in a project, create a new project, and then starts from scratch. Or if you already have a folder, let's say with your schoolwork, with your project details, or anything like that, then into this folder, you want to add your files. This can be documents, Excel spreadsheets, homework, notes, anything that you would use in order to complete this project. Now, here's why it is so much more powerful than it actually sounds. When you start a project and you already have all the files loaded in, Claude already has all that information too. It had already read the files or will read the files without you having to upload them. On a browser, you might have file size limits, amount of files you can upload. Here, you're bypassing all of that. To put some numbers into it, Claude Cowork has anywhere between 200,000 to a million tokens in context. The browser version has barely that. With this, you can have 500 pages worth of PDFs, roughly, if you just had a plain text PDF. With the app, if you manage to fill the entire context window and you want to open a new chat, if you open it in the same project, it remembers exactly what you did before. You are no longer needing to add less or more context or trying to do a summary or anything like that. It already has all this information in it. In technical terms, this is something called RAG, retrieval augmented generation. In plain English, this is like giving a human a huge textbook and saying, learn everything here, and then only reference that textbook with the answers you give me. To give you like an example of what it is, imagine you have a consultant, one who just got into the business, has no idea what it is. A second one who has been reading about the company, has been engaging with its employees and everything else already before he even started. Now, which one do you think is more useful? The one who has no idea or the one who actually knows how the business works and is ready to help right now? Now, step 4 is a bonus step. You don't actually have to do this, but if you do, it makes it exponentially better. The co-creator of Claude Code and Claude, Andrei Karpathy, created this LLM wiki, which basically is a long-term memory for your AI to use less tokens, to remember more of your conversations, and basically to have a structure of who you are and how you use it. It's meant to produce a lot better results just by you interacting with it. After every chat that you do, it automatically updates. You can either download his Obsidian version of it, which is a different app that keeps notes, which is especially good for Claude and Codex because it keeps everything in a markdown file, which is just text. And Codex and Claude work best in markdown files because if you are using PDFs, if you are using PowerPoint presentations or any of these other files, it needs to take screenshots so that it can analyze what is written on them. And it kind of just wastes tokens. Using Obsidian or other things allows you to create a library or a wiki that allows you to quickly reference documents without having to waste tokens. Now you can set this up without using Obsidian. You just tell Claude to create a folder where you will keep your logs. After every session, it'll save roughly 5 bullet points about what was done and the instructions that you gave it to about formatting and what needs to be done in the future. This might not seem like a lot, 5 bullet points. I mean, how will it remember all the details? But this starts compounding. Because you no longer need to give it the instructions to format a title a certain way or use a specific font, you have all this information that it already knows and it kind of goes exponentially up while your token usage goes way down. So here's how we actually achieved what I told you we would. You have moved off of the browser into the actual desktop version. You now have an app that you can upload as many folders, as many files or anything that you want into, and maintaining all that information already in your Claude without having to re-upload it. You also have persistent memory. So this allows you to not only use up less tokens because you have already all the information that you gave it before, but you also don't need to create new prompts. You can be a little less specific in your prompts, which allows you to work quicker and much more efficiently. Now, while this might not be 100% of the way there to use all of AI, you are pretty much ahead of 99% of people who use it daily. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, please subscribe. If you want more videos like this, let me know in the comments of what topics you think I should discuss, any automations, or anything else that you'd like me to work with. All of the information as well as links to how you can do this yourself will be down in the description, so don't hesitate to check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.